Hey guys, it's Rush. Hope we're doing well. Welcome back to the channel. I'm late yet again. Schedule has not allowed me to get a video out, but the Street Fighter 6 Season 4 announcement, the reveal, the lineup for DLC this season has been announced. So the trailer came out at Summer Game Fest. I think it was Saturday, the Saturday just gone. And interesting reception. I've seen the comments on Twitter. I've seen a few of the videos. Some people are really happy to see new characters, some aren't. There's again another guest character. I'm sure you've seen this trailer, but let me play it. Let's go through it quickly. I'm not going to stop it and break down anything, but we will talk about the characters in some detail.
Street Fighter 6 is already entering year 4, but I can sense that we already have new challengers on the horizon.
One of the things that was said about this trailer is how short it is and how it doesn't really show much about the characters. Actually, maybe we'll come back to some elements of the trailer. Bosch from story mode, we've already seen them before, so they're not entirely new.
Fascinating.
And yet another guest character, a very cool addition, a very interesting addition. Maybe we leave it here. I don't know. Do they actually announce any more information? I don't think they do they? Just dates, I think. Here we go. So you can already buy it. I've made some notes about this. First and foremost, the trailer's like super short. Like it's mad how much they don't give you in terms of the characters. It's just an animation, some animations of each character. You don't know what you're buying. So if you're going to buy the season pass, you don't know what these characters are going to be like, which is interesting, I feel, at this stage. There's not much information for then a purchase, and you actually don't get your first character until August. I think it does say it, doesn't it? At the end. Oh, it doesn't even say it there, but yeah, I think Yasmin is meant to come out in August. So between now, so we're at, what are we in? Or early-ish July. Not too long, actually. It's about a month. I don't know. We're in July. We're in June. Sorry, yes, we're in June. 2 months you got to wait for Yasmin, which I think is kind of normal for waiting for characters in Street Fighter 6. But yeah, 4 characters coming out every 2 to 3 months is a painful experience in terms of DLC. So I'm going to put one notes I made about some of the characters. So Yasmin is the first Filipino fighter in the Street Fighter series. She has like a quick and fast fighting style that revolves around dance, I believe. And the martial art itself comes from Filipino-related martial arts. She has a dagger as well, that knife she uses. So, we don't know what to expect. But she has a weapon, which is interesting. So I think she's a cool addition. I do like her design as well. I think she looks... I don't know how to word it. She looks interesting. She looks martial arty. She looks different. So I do like her look and aesthetic. But you don't know, again, like what I said earlier on, you don't know what this character's going to be like in the finished product. So we'll have to see. It'd be nice to see some actual gameplay of her. Or I know it's not how Capcom do it with Street Fighter 6, but just something to show off her fighting style a bit more. Sergeant is another Indian fighter, which is really interesting. I didn't expect to see that from Capcom, and he has yet again yoga power, yoga breath. So I don't know. He's not. I don't think this character's gonna have stretchy limbs and stuff, but I don't know what their obsession with yoga is when it comes to like Indian characters. But whatever. He in some of the artwork we've seen, he's really big. He has like a big stance. Reminds me of like Geef or maybe even Hakan. And the reason why I mention Hakan is because some of the art as well shows his upper body, which is obviously exposed, sweating. So it's probably sweat, but some people say it looked like oil. And again, that's like a Hakan thing. I think is Hakan originally from Turkey. So he is of Eastern from the Western world. Obviously, India's a lot further east. So I don't know. Maybe there's some elements of Hakan in his fight style. Maybe he knows Hakan. We don't know. What's interesting about his design as well is his design's like very, very basic. It looks very similar to people have said very similar to Ryu's design. I think some of the concept artwork for Ryu, people have drawn similarities to Arjun in that perspective. And I think what people were getting at is maybe it's like low effort, perhaps, or just designs that have been reused to develop new characters. We don't know. It's all speculation at this point, but intrigued to see what he'll be like. I'm gathering that he will be a fire-breathing grappler, but we don't know for sure as of yet. Bosch, I don't really know what to say. He gives me like Jamie vibes, but then if you've used him in World Tour, not used him, if you've ran into him in World Tour, when you fight him in World Tour, he has like Luke's moveset. So this strikes me as interesting because it feels like Bosch was never, in my opinion, I'm not saying this is again true, it feels like he was never meant to be part of the roster because, he was in the game way back. He was in World Tour mode. He's an NPC, a non-playable character. He didn't have his own moveset. So at some point, someone's decided to evolve him into a fully fledged character. Now, the thing you have to think about, and again, I'm not trying to bash Capcom, is that his character, like his design already existed and assets of the character existed in the game. However, again, they decided, let's just use him and put him into the game as DLC. I would like to think he was always planned to be a playable character, but it doesn't look that way from my perspective. Again, his design is pretty, in terms of Street Fighter 6, it reminds me of Jamie. It doesn't look very spectacular or different. But what's interesting is if you look at his face, it looks quite feminine here, and his hair, go back to Yasmin, similar sort of face. And I'd say there's similarities with the hair, I feel, the design. She has a hairband to hold the hair back. I don't know, I'm not bashing the game. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what to expect with this character, but I feel like this character's kind of low effort. I didn't mean to bash this DLC. I was trying to be positive, but it's going that way. And Ingrid, I assume, is bringing dimensions together and is bringing Tifa into Street Fighter 6. Now, this is a pretty cool concept because we've had Final Fantasy characters in Tekken, so there's been crossovers before. But to see her in Street Fighter is pretty significant. And Tifa is like it's a fan favorite, isn't it? Tifa is a fan favorite, and I think her fighting style will gel well with Street Fighter 6. One of the things that got my attention was how they mentioned materia. If you don't know, Tifa is from Final Fantasy 7, and the not the gimmick, but the system in Final Fantasy 7 is materia. Materia, if you don't know, not to go too much into Final Fantasy lore, is materia can be assigned to your weapons, to parts of your character like loadout, and materia can be used to buff your character, give you access to spells, gives you access to certain skills. You can actually link materia. So if you in your weapon slots, if you have a materia, so it's basically like a jewel and then like a link to another jewel, you can combine two aspects of materia together to create, more dramatic impact on the skills that your character has. Really, really cool way to customize your characters in the game. So materia, what I'm seeing is that she will have access to different materias. Maybe if she does like a super, maybe it's randomized, I don't know. Maybe there's different versions of super that will lead her to go to lead her to use a certain materia type that buffs her character. Similar to, think of Mai's level 1. She has level 1, she gets a buff. Maybe her super or her moves will buff her to have certain access to certain materia. So that's how she gets buffed. I don't know. But then there was talk of materia being part of the system mechanics in Street Fighter 6. So imagine they add materia as a system mechanic in Street Fighter 6 that all characters can use. And that's a bit far-fetched because that would dramatically change the game. And all the characters using materia would be, I don't know, it would again change the aspects of the game dramatically. I don't know how they'd balance that. I think it will be tied to Tifa, but that's a really crazy concept. Even just for Tifa, that's a mad concept. So I'm intrigued to see how they implement that, but we won't find that out. I think she's the third DLC character to come in this season, so she won't come for another 10 months at this rate. So we won't find out for a long, long while. So I say she's hype. I think the main thing with this is she's a guest character, collaboration. They're looking for, they're looking to draw members of the Final Fantasy or Square community into Street Fighter. No doubt when Tifa drops. I think with Ingrid, the game peaked on Steam at 72k concurrent users. when Tifa drops, you're hitting 100. I say you're hitting 100k easily. But whether they stay for the long haul, those players, I don't know. But this is a bit of it's a collaboration, it's a tie-in, it's a way to again boost sales, which it's these things are helping the scene grow, which I like for Capcom. It's making the game very successful. But because of this design of the 3 new characters, Tifa is essentially a new character, but a collaboration. You don't get any returning characters. And I think that's interesting because Metro City, the location of Final Fight, has no tie-ins to Final Fight so far. We haven't had Cody, we haven't had Guy, we haven't had Hara. I think it's interesting, like, what's the purpose of being in Metro City if you've not got a tie-in? And I think a lot of people were looking forward to Cody being in this game. I thought he'd be in this game by now, season 4. Hara was in the leaks. He's obviously not part of the roster in season 4. So if there is a season 5 of Street Fighter 6, I think there has to be some serious tie-ins to Metro City. So we'll see what happens. But one thing I will say is with watching Summer Game Fest and just the state of Street Fighter 6, my interest in Street Fighter 6, like the Ingrid patch has done nothing for me. I was planning to play Ingrid. I tried it. It's not my type of character. The direction of Street Fighter 6 and where Capcom's focus is doesn't appeal to me personally. And it's really hard to support the game with the trajectory it's on. And again, I don't judge people that enjoy the game. I don't judge Capcom. I can see why they're doing these things. But watching Summer Game Fest, one thing it highlighted to me is how many other good games are coming out that I'm missing out on. Summer Game Fest, honestly, is one of the best showcases for games I've seen in a long, long time. We had Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. That was the first game of the showcase, and it blew my mind because I didn't know what the game was going to be, but it was really impressive. Like I really enjoyed the reveal. Didn't expect it. It built the hype of the show off the bat. There are a number of other games that really caught my attention as well. Guild Wars 3. I used to love Guild Wars, the original. I never played Guild Wars 2, but seeing Guild Wars 3, really, really interesting. Whether I get time to play these games, that's another matter altogether. But it just shows that like I invest so much in Street Fighter and the franchise. It's not giving much time to play any of the games, in all honesty. There's a lot of other games I saw as well during the showcase that I made a note of that look really, really good. One of the dev games, I think, Threads of Time, like a game that pays homage to Japanese RPGs. I love the 2D, 3D aspect of it. It looked amazing. Again, a game I'd love to play if like the time allowed me to play it. Don't really game too much these days outside of Street Fighter, but yeah, a lot of games I'd love to play. It just really highlighted to me that maybe I'm putting too much into Street Fighter, especially because I'm not enjoying it as much as I'd want to be. I'm missing out on a lot of other gaming opportunities. Loads of games at Summer Game Fest I saw that caught my attention. I can't go them all in this video because that's not what this video is about. But yeah, just food for thought, really. It made me think about, my time spent playing Street Fighter 6. Maybe I'll make a separate video talking about Street Fighter 6 and me and our relationship and where I am in life in regards to that and the impact it's having and things. But yeah, more on topic. What do you think about Season 4 of Street Fighter 6? Are you happy with the roster? Are you unhappy? Who would you have liked to have seen? I'd really like to hear your opinion on what you feel about Season 4. Thanks for your time, guys. Again, apologies it was late. A lot of rambling as usual. My videos, they're unscripted, just me waffling about current state of Street Fighter 6 and my mindset in regards to that topic. Appreciate your time. Catch you next one. Take care.